Alright, so, for the recent videos I only talked about stuff I loved. So today, we evened that out. Do you remember Arcane Raise?
Look at this! There is no storytelling! Pre-made dungeons in the generic RPG Maker package! Treasure chest unreachable!
An experienced war veteran and the command...
The command?
Cause for sure I do remember. That trilogy got released between the 10th of March and the 2nd of May 2017. And after showing us these, amazing masterpieces, the developer fortunately brought us another series. A series so good that it was removed from Steam. Still in 2017, between the 8th of August and the 7th of November, the Occult Raise saga got released. Damn, 3 games released in 4 months? You already know, we're in for a ride. And judging by some of the stuff I read, the reception must have been incredibly positive. Unfortunately, I was not able to recover the content of the store page because, you know, it was removed. But there is some information left from the community hub. This is just a part of what the game promises apparently. Breathtaking sceneries and mind-blowing visuals. Yeah, I can guarantee it's gonna be a mind-blowing experience. We have 3 games on our hands, some drama we're gonna discuss during the video, and we are ready to start. Make yourself comfy and enjoy the fantastic world of Occult Raise! Trust me, this intro is better than everything you will see in the game. Just to clarify, whatever you're gonna see, remember that this game is behind a paywall. I was not able to find the actual full price it went for, but from a reply of the developer himself, the DLCs were $3 each. Yes, there are DLCs, and we're gonna go through them in a second. But with the $3 DLC, I can guess, I don't know, at least $5 for the base game? Every time you see something on screen, ask yourself, is it worth the money? On the main menu, we can choose to start the game, or start the game with the DLCs. For the beginning, we're gonna go with the fresh experience with no extra content. Content, you will see. Welcome to Divinia, the main lobby of the game. Well, to not say the only lobby of the game. There are 4 stone paths connected to 4 different zones where we can fight progressively stronger enemies, pretty similar to Arcane Raise if you watched that video. And here, our gameplay starts. We move in the 4 axes and we have our menu with our characters. This game being 3D allows us to move the camera, which makes everything worse already. First of all, you can quickly realize how signs, which are attached to buildings, are not actually attached to buildings, but they fly thanks to some demonic power. And then I also noticed some white lines which appear and disappear on the screen. I think that's supposed to be rain, but do you want to know what's the beauty of it? If you rotate the game by exactly 90 degrees, the rain completely disappears, so they made a bidimensional rain in a 3D game. Oh, wait. Did I say they made the rain? You are not ready. Oh boy, we just began and I am already losing brain cells. Let's go to our characters. First of all, there is Damien, a nameless shade. Oh no, it's back. No, please, everything but that. No, I don't want to feel the pain again. I don't want to remember those moments anymore. Yeah, as you can guess, that's the same exact description for every single character, and also, once again, they are not nameless! And once again, if you think this description is gonna be important at any point of the game, you are still thinking about good games. And instead, if you think I am reacting a little bit too harsh on this, it's because I already went through so much bullshit in Arcane Raise. Anyways, let's talk about buildings. There is an equipment shop, an item shop, and an inn we can use to sleep and restore ourselves. On the 2nd floor of the inn, there is... nothing. I knew this game smelled like good content the second I saw it. And that's the end of the hub. This square of garbage with only the most boring merchants ever conceived. But hey, to be fair, that's not the goal of the game. The goal is to defeat enemies. Let's go to get them. Welcome to the Oasis for Morons. Let's make a game. There are 3 chests in this screen. What do you expect? 1. Some basic items. 2. Starting gears for the characters. 3. Ambush attack from enemies. Or 4. All of the above. That's a tricky question, of course, because in reality they all contain the same exact thing, which is exactly 5,000 money! That is so stupid! We went back to Arcane Raise days, where every chest contains the same exact stuff, and the chest placement is even worse than the one of Arcane Raise! Look! Every single chest of this game will always contain the same exact thing. Man, doesn't that sound exciting? Alright, so, exploration sucks. Let's see the combat. Behold, combat! That's an interesting choice. You see the 2D sprites of the opponents in the middle of the battle, which happens in the same zone we are traversing. This, in theory, is actually a good enough concept, not gonna lie. And battle is the most generic JRPG battle I have ever seen with your attacks and skills. Very, very standard, basically. But maybe, who knows, there are gonna be some surprises, some special attack, something which makes it unique. Spoiler, no. There are some notable things, though. First of all, the camera chosen for battle supposedly cannot be moved, and I really hated how a building blocked clearly the view of an enemy for every single battle in this zone. It's cool to see the enemy in the zone you're traversing. Exactly. It's cool to see the enemy in the zone you're traversing. In here, I don't see shit. Then there are enemies glitching with the scenario. It's not really unusual to see parts of those PNGs getting stuck in the ground. And also during the battle results screen, which is, by the way, very ugly in my opinion, you can see where you came from. Nowhere. Every single one of the zones we're gonna traverse are in the middle of nowhere, they're floating in the sky or something. And last but not least, in every single house present in this zone there is... nothing. You cannot enter in the house. But considering Pokemon Scarlet and Violet did the same, I just have to shut up. But then, when you take your head away from the Subway Surfer gameplay on the side, and you just look a little bit closely, you see some other problems in here. For example, the chest, the model of the chest. The developer did not know how to turn them around, so every single chest placed in the map, even if it would be clearly meant to be opened from the other side, is gonna open in front of a wall, or in front of houses, which just makes you understand how much time they even spent working on this game. As I told you, each chest rewards you with 5,000 gold. How much money do you get from battles? From battles you get the grand total of... 35 money per battle. And considering how the stuff in the shop goes for at least 1,000 coins, I don't think you need to be a genius to understand how flawed this system is. It just devolves into the most uninteresting grind fest after you collect all the starting chests, even though you will already get everything from the shop by the time you finish collecting the chests, so why even bothering putting money in the first place? Is that chest unreachable? Not this time. The developer was smarter than you, because now, if you take advantage of the 3D... Sorry, as I was saying, if you take advantage of the camera rotation, you will notice a road! And if you follow the road... Oh, you know what's the problem? Zones are incredibly small and contain nothing interesting apart from chests, because buildings don't work, the scenario doesn't do anything, there are no mini-bosses. To compensate this, the enemy encounter rate is extremely high, so it will be painful to go from the beginning to the end. Also, yeah, the chest was not unreachable. Hooray! To prove you how short this stupid place is, I will run from the end of it all the way to the entrance, skipping the battles. Are you ready? Wow, it almost felt like I ran a marathon, doesn't it? So yeah, after this, exploration, we have enough money to revive the others and buy more equipment for our characters. And I think I already found the meta of this... meta. No one ever played this game in the universe probably, but still, I found the meta of this game. Among the things you can buy, for the low price of $5,000, you can buy Thieves' Boots. Thieves' Boots boost your evasion, but also increase your speed. And you can equip 2 accessories per character, so 2 pairs of boots per character? That's not the point though, and I'm gonna show you the point in the next zone. Welcome to the Temple of Disappointment. There is some stuff in my what am I is that a Pokemon? Here is where I realized the real power of the Thieves' Boots. Escape, in some video games, is connected to the speed of your characters, and we have very high speed right now. So, we can just escape from all the battles, battle which, from what I said earlier, offer almost no reward for you. But the chests do. So you know what happens now? We skip every single battle, collect every single chest, and buy every single piece of equipment. And that's what I don't really understand. The purpose of the game is to defeat as many enemies as possible, but it's boring and doesn't offer any rewards for you, but whatever. While exploring, we also reach the entrance to a mine shaft. And that's false. Then we reach a portal which leads to nowhere. And then, oh boy, the final cherry on top of the cake, we reach staircases that lead into a wall! Also, all over this place there are unreachable zones, and you know what I think happened in here? I think the developer didn't know or didn't want to implement the teleport between zones, but that leads the question. The staircase at the inn, all these entrances which are clearly meant to teleport you somewhere, if you don't know or don't want to create a teleport, why placing these in the first place? Well, it's very simple, and it's gonna be an epiphany similar to the one of Arcane Raise. Sit down and breathe, because it's time to reach the supreme level of Ascension. 3, 2, 1. These maps aren't the developer's maps. I was able to find the software the developer used to create this game thanks to the help of a comment in the community hub. The developer used Smile Game Builder, and just like RPG Maker, these offered some pre-made maps for you to use. And do you know where I'm going with this? Every single zone of the game is pre-made in the software! Except for the main lobby. Wow, a giant square with some pre-made house models in it. No, actually, wait. There is one thing the developer added in the houses. The signs, which we already saw float in mid-air. So the one thing the developer added to the model sucks! Yeah, what happened is he clearly just added the maps in the game and then didn't even check or try to add teleport between zones. This is one of the most blatant forms I've ever seen of an asset flip. Oh, and on that note, every single asset used in this game is default. Music, characters, enemy sprites, and again, using default assets is not a problem by itself, but the problem is, you just use them in the laziest way possible in here. I have no idea. I feel like I've been repeating the same exact things I said in the Arcane Raise video. How were these games allowed on Steam? Well, actually there may be a reason, and we are gonna discuss that later. Let's just go to the third zone, okay? Welcome to the pile of crap! What? You think I'm joking? How else do you interpret this? It's essentially a pile of crap. A cave? You think it's a cave? Ah, I didn't know it was sunny inside of caves! While looting our numerous chests, which as you may have already... I wasn't even able to finish writing this phrase for the script for the video, and we already reached the end of the zone. Oh, come on! What is this garbage? Congratulations! We are level 5 characters, and we have the best equipment you can buy in the store. We are rich and powerful, and you know what I just realized? The menu tells you the name of the zones you are in when you open it. The lobby is called Divinia, of course. How are the zones canonically called? Welcome to Desert Town 02, Labyrinth 01, Dungeon 16. Yes, surprisingly Pile of Crap is not the canon name. And contain your excitement for the fantastic Temple 03, which, as you may have already understood, is the default name of each pre-made map. They cared so much that they didn't even change the name of the zones. Perfect. Anyways, there is a reason I was looking so carefully at the menu. It was 3 AM while I was recording. Yes, I have nothing better to do at night than to play this. Sleeping? What's that? I wanted to go to sleep, but the save option was not available in the menu. I tried going to Divinia and still nothing. And here I had the realization. There is no way to save your progresses in this game. The game purposefully removes the save option. In the next day, I have to redo everything again to see what's next in the final zone. So, let's check the DLCs, actually, since we are here. The Start with the DLC option in the menu is just a rename for the load button. So, what do DLCs do? Each DLC adds a 4th character to your team, which again is a default character from Smile Game Builder. And every single one of them, if you remember, costs $3. No description, no equipment, no skills, no emotion. Not emotions of the character, no. Emotions of the development of the game. And do you wanna hear the worst part in this? One of the DLC character is literally the starting character but called Melina instead of Laura, because that creates a whole other level of introspection, right? In any case, I quickly farmed until we were able to take on again the last zone, the Sanctuary of Uselessness, and the name is not really random in here. This should be the final test of your skills, the last challenge, the place where the fruit of your work in the previous zones can be perceived. Enemies drop slightly more experience and gold at the cost of being 10 times tankier, and they drop some items. Do you know what these items do? Nothing. They can't be sold for good money, they are useless. Also, this winged creature drops no experience or gold, but apparently is a devil? And here I realized, there is not even a final boss to the game. Okay, no, to be fair, there is not even a boss to the game, okay? But like, at least Arcane Raise had someone waiting for you at the end and telling you it was over. And the game never said there was gonna be a final boss after all, right? The goal the game told us was, slay as many monsters as you can. In a game where you can't save. Eh? That's what I'm supposed to do in the game? Just fight monsters over and over again? Sorry. Do you see the problem? Once you become strong enough, nothing is a problem anymore. What do I have to do? Just fight them because grinding is fun? If I want to grind, I will go play, I don't know, Terraria or Minecraft or whatever. I'm gonna play fucking Roguelands, but not this thing! I don't know how to express it, but this game is really draining my energy. I'm counting the seconds until this video finally finishes! Now there is the second game of the franchise, which is Occult Raise. No, wait, actually, before the second game, can we talk a bit? Because by looking at this poorly made asset flip, a question you may have is, how was this even available on Steam? Like, doesn't Steam make some controls or something? Well, apparently this game was able to arrive in here thanks to Steam Greenlight. Now, I'm not an expert and I'm not gonna go too much into details about this, but to simplify, Greenlight allowed you to publish as a developer games after paying $100. You pay $100 once, you can upload as many games as you'd like, and then there is a voting process from users. Users decide the game which enter on Steam Marketplace. And initially the system allowed even to publish some games you may actually know. For example, in the first wave there was Project Zomboid, there was Kenshi, there was Cry of Fear. But then, like in any system, there can be problems. Vote manipulation, Steam trading card abuse, and stuff such as this series. Since you have to pay $100 only once, what prevents you from just uploading a bunch of random bullshit on the system? That's why the Greenlight was removed in favor of Steam Direct. Now you have to pay $100 per game, but from what I understood, after you gain a certain amount of money from your game, you get those $100 back. Did this fix all the problems? I don't know, really. Like, I see people complaining even about this system, so you're gonna tell me in the comments maybe, because I'm not that expert of the sector. But you know what's funny? When I was making some research on the Steam Greenlight for this discussion, totally randomly, and I repeat, totally randomly, I found a Reddit post where apparently the developer of Arcane Raise was making fun of Steam Greenlight. And I mean, of course he makes fun of it, he released this crap thanks to it, but like, what are the chances? And unfortunately, there is also a bunch of delicacies I cannot show you because the store page was shut down. For example, it seems that in the trailer of the game, there was a mouse cursor on the screen. How the fuck? Like, imagine, you make a trailer for your game. Trash battles. Useless staircases, and a bunch of PNGs for the price of $3. Welcome to Occult Raise. And then you just place a mouse cursor in the... Like, what are you thinking? Update right before uploading the video. I found the actual trailer! And look in there, there is the mouse cursor on the screen! I find it hilarious that the trailer I made results even better than the one the developer made for his own game! Sorry for the interruption, let's continue. Last thing before proceeding, while I was unable to find the store page, there is one thing I was able to find. The policy for discussions about the game in the community hub. And there is the normal review rules, the UGC rules of course, but then there is free speech rights. Regarding your rights of the free speech applies to the government. These are privately owned forums hosted on privately owned servers, therefore free speech rights do not apply here. You have a privilege to use these forums, not a right. Therefore, developers reserve the right to remove users and content at their own discretion. Okay. Now, it's just my personal opinion, but I feel like this free speech paragraph was more used to remove negative comments, and only those. And in fact, others in the community hub were talking about it! I don't know, I feel like saying this, that free speech applies to the government, in a community hub, a place where normally developers get opinions from people, is like saying, we don't want your opinions. But again, it's just me. Oh, and since we talked about Reddit, I was able to find the developer of the game, which said he was gonna purge all of his content, more details here, and in here he mentioned how he went through harassment, bullying, abuse, and misbehavior of moderators. And while it's not true that he purged all of his content because Arcane Raise is still available to be purchased, I need to make a serious discussion. Even if these games are clearly made to make some quick cash, be an achievement farm, be usable to farm cards or some other stuff possible, and even if you trust or not what the developer is saying in this paragraph, nothing justifies death threats or other types of persecution to the person. You can complain all the time you want about the game or the developer, but if you start going out of that sphere and focus on the person and not on the developer, that's where you are in the wrong. But that's enough educational Polo 94 for today. Let's go back to this crap! Welcome to Occult Raise! The sequel, it's not a sequel, the sequel of Occult Raise! I'm getting a deja vu. Welcome to the ethereal realm. Now the efficiency is improved. All the shops are moved in the same exact house, and they still sell the exact same stuff. But hey, now enemies go around in the overworld. That's incredible! No, that's another feature which comes with Smile Game Builder already when you purchase it. But then again, sit down, because there was something which was able to blow my mind. All the chests of the game are gonna give you 2,500 gold exactly. But in the shop, there is one chest. One chest, which doesn't give you 2.5 gold. It gives you 1,000 gold. Yes! We got a different chest before GTA 6, let's go! And for the actual gameplay, well, it's a giant rectangle full of monsters, and then there are some things which are not interactable with, so did you expect better? And this game had DLCs as well. Now there are 2 characters which are identical to your main character. Also, all the DLC characters are level 1 except Jane, which is level 3. All the gold and the experience you gather inside of this giant rectangle is supposed to be used in the arena. And do you want to know what's the arena? It's a zone in the top left, which is exactly identical to the Temple of Disappointment in Occult Raise. Fantastic. That's a clear little reference to the fact that this game is the sequel of the game. Do you see? There is the same zone after a couple of years maybe or something. No, it's just bullshit, okay? It's just garbage. And yeah, that's everything available in the game. A starting lobby is slightly different from the one of Occult Raise. A giant square with some enemies patrolling inside, and a recycled zone. Do you know, I am currently working on the Void Stranger video, which is gonna come out in probably a month or so, but I love about that game that every single thing you find has a purpose or can be repurposed into something else. There are some secrets, there are some details, and that costs like $10 on Steam, and then in here you spend $3 for one PNG. Where did I go wrong in life? Why am I doing this? Let's go to the final game! Occult Raise. You see, you recognize this game is different because in the other games you had the menu options displayed vertically. Here they are displayed horizontally because this game is unique. And we are back into Divinia. I mean, it's supposed to be a prequel, so it's possible. There are 2 stone paths. Okay, you know what? Let's make a game. How many of these stone paths you think will be the zones we already saw in Occult Raise? No! They're actually kinda new! And terrible. There are some bugs, like your characters get stuck in the ground in some parts, in other zones, so there is I'm done. You know what? I don't want to play this game anymore. I am done. Occult Raise Franchise shits on himself every single second I spend inside of here, so I think it's better to just close this chapter for I bit my tongue! And this is probably the most exciting thing which happened in the whole video, therefore, I don't know what to say. I was Frapollo94, I am sorry I have ever released this, I hope to never see again this piece of garbage. Let me know if you want me to talk about some other bad RPG Maker games or Smile Game Builder games on that department. Let me know in the comments. If you like this crap, leave a like and subscribe, and bye.